version with its cost?
No, but I tell you, when I asked them to put these facts together for me in 2004, remember this project was really created in November of 2003 because we got the TIF passed before December 31st of 2003 because that's when the tax rolls were created for a TIF. And the Radio Shack had not come on the tax rolls. And so the TIF was created so that it started on January of 2004 with Radio Shack being in the TIF. That cost estimate, preliminary cost of the bypass channel project, without the federally required 20% contingency, without the escalation, and without Gateway Park, in 2004, from the estimates was $320 million. That was the starting amount. Now what happened is that for years, east side of Fort Worth has said, do something with Gateway Park. You know, when it's finished, that's 1,000 acres. Central Park in New York City, which is supposed to be the biggest park in the United States, is not but 800 acres. So what we really are talking about is finishing out the largest city park, inner city park in the United States. This project, it decided to include, because it could be included in this project, the Gateway Park revitalization. And that's what caused the doubling of everything and the use of that area for the homing. And it was to redo and finish out a project that, if you live on the east side, you know it's been there forever, but not really what we wanted it to be. I remember Becky talking about it for 10 years down there. And so that's when it doubled. And the Corps finished that study in 2006, and they put in the required 20% contingency, but it still excludes the escalation and the Gateway Park, and at that point it was $435 million. And then in 2008, which was the final price, which included the contingencies, what they wanted to put in there. So this $909 million has figured in the inflation factors and everything. So that's the total cost of the project. Not what it might cost, but that's the escalation factors involved in it. And I think they require that. And so that's what that is, the $764 million plus $145 million in escalation cost. And there's your $909 million 2008 projection.
Steve?
I think, Gail, as I heard the question, was what would it originally cost to fix the levees, not to do the project? And I have seen reports by the Corps of Engineers, and I believe right now we're at the 100-year floodplain, and this was to raise the levees to satisfy a 500-year floodplain, which is well beyond what most cities have as security. That was less than $10 million. It was not an economic development project, so it was like $9.6 million would raise the levees to fix any potential flood problem in the foreseeable future, on into the next 500 years, or at least statistically, where that 500-year flood would come. And so, Jim, what you described is this whole project and what it would have cost. What Gail asked was, what would it cost just to fix the levees? The citizens could have been spent less than $10 million.
I've never seen it. I'm hearing that.
That's one of the items on that list was option. So I thought somebody must have a dollar amount somewhere for that option.
Now, I understand the Corps was asked to go back and refigure it on the different and more expanded plan after they turned in their first report.
Well, here's their report. So, I mean, I'm not speaking for the Corps of Engineers, but this is their report. I can write that.
Jade?
Given the anti-spending mood of Congress, are you confident that the Treasury Division will ever get the federal money it needs to complete the project? Is this whole discussion perhaps moot?
I'm convinced that they will. Of course, I make no bones about being a Democrat, but it seems to me like my Republican friends are all talking about the same thing, which is economic development, creating jobs. This project, you can talk about it, the cost of the jobs that it's created already, it's pretty phenomenal what this project is doing and what the projections are as far as the money put back into the community. And when you look at what the TIF has already done in this poor economy, the real numbers are that $15 million has been kicked back to the city of Fort Worth, Tarrant County Hospital District, Tarrant County College, Tarrant Regional Water District, and more importantly, $13 million has gone to your school district here. Money off of this TIF that is supposed to be failing, but it's way ahead of projections. Those are actual dollars that went to each one of these participating entities. The TIF has generated $23 million, and $15 million of it, since it's an 80-20 TIF, has gone back to those agencies. And I think it's important to keep in mind that the largest amount is your school district. And this was not money that they thought was coming or projected in the budget, because it's all TIF. So I think it will go forward.
Can I ask a question about that $13 million? If that's the amount of money, and say that's, you said it's generating 15, Jim, my understanding our tax rate is about $1 per 100. So that 13 million would have to have been something like $1.3 billion worth of new development. Is that what you're saying, Matthew?
I'm saying that that TIF generated $23 million, and $15 million of it, which are the numbers that came from each one of these entities, is the TIF money, their 20% that was kept and went back to them.
Let me address this also in a different way. I'll go back to what I'm talking about, water supply. Jim was just talking about jobs and economic development. The Texas Water Plan for 2012 literally just came out in the last 2 weeks. And Region C is the region, again, that we are in here. Let me read to you from Chapter 6 of that report what happens if we do not meet our water supply needs. Models show that Texas business and workers could lose approximately $11.9 billion in income in 2010, with a total increase to about $115.7 billion by 2060. Of that, $49,721 million will be in Region C, and total job losses would be 546,676. So again, we can keep focusing on the project downtown, or we can focus on putting water. But if we keep moving here, people at a rate of 1,100 people a day in Texas, we don't have the water. And even their own paperwork says that they're good through 2035. That's true based on a couple of assumptions. One of those assumptions is that we're not in drought. And currently we are in drought. As a matter of fact, as of today, if you look down at Lake Benbrook, they're down below 50% of their pool. They're down 46% today. That's even after some rainfall. So again, I know we're spending a lot of time on the vision here, and we're spending a lot of time on all these jobs. But again, that's my point, is this is a Tarrant Regional Water District. It's not the jobs district. It's not the economic development district. This is a focus that should be completely water and flood control. I think we're kind of missing it.
You must keep in mind, if you go back and read your statute that was amended, actually the water district was taxed with the proposition, the Tarrant Regional Water District by legislation signed by Governor Perry and the Republican legislature, was to increase the recreation and job economic development through water projects.
What year was economic development added?
I think it was, what, 2004?
So after the project started, essentially?
Well, right.
So we realized it was illegal and we needed to do something.
Well, you'll have to talk to Governor Perry. I think he's busy though.
He may be.
We can't blame him on Governor Perry. He probably didn't know what he was signing, but I will say that Congresswoman Granger and our own local representative, Charlie Guerin, are the ones who got this bill passed, House Bill 2639, which gave the water district all this expanded authority to create the TRD authority in the first place, and gave the water district the opportunity to barter, to sell, to grant, to take land for economic development.